end of every one of these, and I always have the uneasy feeling that I've said something I shouldn't have.
I guarantee you I will, but that's
Okay.
how I live my life.
Perfect. Perfect. Who wants to go first? You guys got to say who you are and what you do, or at least as much as you're willing to say about what you do.
Are we supposed to like say how we know you or any of that stuff as well?
Only if you want to. I want people to be able to identify the name with the face. That's all.
Oh, we just got to get into a conversation at least of how we know each other then.
Yeah, we sure can.
Yeah, I'm trying to host, but you're the host.
Oh, take
Sorry.
it, man. No, take it.
Yeah,
Brother,
no,
take
so I'm
it.
Paul Mace, and I work for an investment company. Is that what I'm supposed to say? And
Sure.
Yeah, that's what I do, and I live here in Marymount.
Beautiful, Marymount, Ohio.
Marymount, yes.
Yes, not Mariemont.
That's right. It's Marymount. For anybody who doesn't know that.
Vince, what do you do? Where are you?
I am in Baldwin, Maryland, which is just north of Baltimore, Maryland. I work with computers.
Ah, yeah.
That's like what grandparents always say. They're like, well, what does your grandson do? Oh, he works with computers. I'm like, who doesn't work with computers? Like,
true.
Yeah.
And I actually don't really work with investments. I just work for an investment company.
You could literally work at like Arby's, but you work in the back office.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I work on a computer.
Yeah.
Right.
We do the same thing.
It just happens to be a photo opt touchscreen cash register.
Is there anything else you want to know?
No, that's it, man. Hey, thanks you guys so much for coming. I really appreciate you talking to me.
All right, are we done?
Yep, take care.
Good,
No, I want you guys to talk about the last few weeks. The only reason I'm doing this is because I think these are weird times.
Was this the part where you wanted us to take off our shirts?
Yeah. That's exactly right. That's
at
the
the
part.
5-minute mark,
Vince,
guys,
go ahead.
take off your clothes.
Yeah, no, it's actually right now, Vince, and I want you to because the little Lacoste alligator keeps catching my eye. I don't like it.
Yeah, you like that?
No.
Put on a dress shirt for you.
I appreciate that. I do. I've got my fancier hoodie on than I normally have the light gray thin
Is
hoodie.
that fur lined?
But it is. Isn't that crazy?
And are you in your garage or where are you?
I'm in my basement, man.
Your basement. All right. Yeah. Kitty asked me and I was like, I think he's in his garage, but your basement.
No, it's my basement. I kind of wish it was the garage because that means I could smoke cigs while we were doing this. But
I was actually, I kind of did watch one of your shows finally. Like I glanced at a couple and then I had it playing today while I was working and I noticed you weren't smoking at all.
No. No. I'm indoors. I don't smoke indoors.
Well,
you guys both working from home now, right? You both have company jobs that are like that, and you both have jobs, and you both are gonna have jobs.
Yeah, so I was lucky because we already worked from home a couple of days a week. We can telecommute, so it was like pretty much an easy transition.
We were the same. I don't particularly usually work at home, but I always could and did occasionally. And actually, I'm working at my parents are not here, so I have a whole empty house.
Oh, with a backyard full of Pachysandra.
Yeah, so I just work over there every day. So
cool.
It's been a little easier.
So you get to get out of the house. See, I lobbied. My job has always been something I could do from home, but I was required to go into the office, being the only salesperson here in Cincinnati, and I would lobby to work from home, and now I would really like to go into the office a couple of days.
Yeah, me too. Yeah.
I really would.
I usually do, but it's at least nice I don't have to listen to my kids bickering and fighting during the day.
Right, and so you don't have to be responsible for feeding them or entertaining them or doing I don't know any numbers of things.
And I can't get Jimmy John's. Like that's what's killing me right now.
What? You can't get Jimmy John's?
Yeah, there's like my office. So my office is right in Camden Yards, so it's in the baseball stadium.
Yeah.
That's Vince's biggest problems over the last few weeks is he can't get Jimmy John's.
His office is in the baseball stadium.
Yeah, so like I can walk down the steps through the stadium and like I'm crushing a 12-inch.
We bet you are. Well, I mean, doesn't Jimmy John's? You don't have a Jimmy John's by your house that would deliver to your Tony neighborhood, and where are you again? Chevy
Baldwin.
Chase.
There's not much out here. There's like a feed store and then a Goodwill.
So your house sits on 68 acres with some surfs at the bottom of the hill.
Yeah,
something like that.
Yeah.
So well,
I've been there once.
This is the thing. I've been talking to a lot of people, and I mean, obviously everybody's been affected by it, but I've been I guess most of the people I know are fortunate. Nobody seems to be in dire circumstances. Paul, you're not going to make any economic speculation. That's kind of what I wanted to talk to you about. Maybe it'll be another time, but
just, you know,
I mean,
it's going to be hard, right? Like, you think it's going to be hard. Like,
yeah,
I mean,
I think it's going to be way harder than people think.
I think so too. Like, I think Benchy said the other day, like, there'll be a pent-up demand, which might be true, but I think some businesses won't survive. And I think there'll be a group of people that are nervous about going out again. I mean, I think you get back to normal, but
yeah, I don't know that we get back to normal before there's a vaccine.
Yeah, that's what I was saying. I wonder, because like, if there's not, you really, I mean, it might be maybe for guided by voices, but you want to go put your shoulder to shoulder with a bunch of people and someone might have it. I don't know.
I think there's a huge part of the demographic that could care less, and they're just going to party like they're going to go.
There still
crazy.
is.
You're right.
You know, I mean, it's like the boomers and the millennials. I think the millennials, like, there's a lot of older people that are still like,
I'm just going to go golfing.
Hang out with my friends.
Yeah. I would, you know, if I played golf, I probably would. I mean, it's like, I mean, you could keep from hugging and kissing on one person during an outdoor walk for 3.5 hours, right? Swinging a club every now and then.
That is the people that have to come to work, though, that have to work at the golf course that you're ignoring.
Well, I'd play okay. I mean, okay, reasonable, fair enough. But you know, but you see, but that's the thing, though, is those people would become essential at that point and have a job.
Yeah. Are you seeing it in your neighborhoods? I see a lot of people like walking around, and like some you could tell are family cores and some are not. Like you could tell, like
yeah,
like they're right, like my neighbors right now. I probably shouldn't. Yes, like people getting together still. Like even if it's just
having guests over. Like there's 10, 12 people around a fire pit kind of thing.
It's less than you know. It's only a few people, but I'm more of the like.
Yeah, well,
I mean, I'll talk to you like 6 feet away, but I don't want to be like right next to you.
Oh, how long? Oh, guys, Vince, real quick, tell the crowd. You've got 2 kids, right? You have one, just Denzo. Okay, so Paul, you've got 2 kids.
I've got
just one, right? So, yeah. But the thing is, I've got 2 kids, and the thing is we haven't really been or done anything that would make me think that we'd been exposed. We went through the scare with Christina, like right at the very beginning, because she got really sick. And so we've subsequently been kind of quarantined, if you will, imperfectly to be sure, but still. Yeah. And none of us are sick, and the gestation period's widely to believe 14 days or less. You know, and so, you know, and I know I understand the whole thought process of, you know, keeping it as tight as possible. But if I went over my dad's next Tuesday, who's also been in the same boat, would you consider that irresponsible? Or if like
so you're saying like it's a closed loop, basically?
Yeah, yeah. No, I'm asking your opinion on the thought process.
No, because I've had this conversation with a lot of people. They're like, well, you know, we have this closed loop of friends, right? Like, I know you're not hanging out with anybody else, and I'm not hanging out with anybody else. So theoretically, it should be good for us all to hang out.
It should be fine. Yeah. So it should be fine.
I don't know. I'm kind of torn.
Maybe.
You know?
Yeah. I think it's hard, like, you never know, right? Like, I've had that conversation where it's like, yeah, but are you like, you got a babysitter that's coming over that's going to be seeing, you know, like, so I don't know, like, would it be irresponsible to see your dad? Maybe not, but like, you're taking a risk.
Jesus.
Yeah. I mean, it's
Jesus.
And that babysitter's really into licking toilet seats. Like, you left that part.
No, but if
I thought you were going somewhere else again.
Somebody in your closed knit is not really closed. That's the risk you take. The more you expose yourself.
That's the risk you take, but it's a better risk than like going to Funland and jumping around the balls.
Right, or like going and standing in line, like in a mile deep line in front of Costco.
Exactly.
Like Home Depot. People. I'm like, no wonder.
Home Depot. I did it today. I went to Home Depot today.
See?
In line.
Yeah.
I'm going to my local hardware store.
Yeah, I got the Clorox wipes in the car. I just, you know, I'm not making out with anybody. I don't know.
So up until like last week, every Thursday I had a bunch of dudes come over.
I bet you did.
So the thing that we did was like, most of my friends aren't very handy, so
I bet they're not.
Broken shit. So I was like, bring your broken mowers and your broken, you know, whatever, and I'll teach you guys how to fix it. and, and it was awesome.
You
Like
had
last Thursday, we did a blower. We put a short shift kit in a Porsche, and I fixed a 4-wheeler.
rock and roll.
But Meg just put the kibosh on it.
I've got it, you know, I mean, I've got 2 lawnmowers that are the exact same model, and I've been cannibalizing parts to keep the other one running, kind of thing.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And I'm going to spend the money, and I'm going to take the risk of taking taking these 2 mowers to my guy who I go to every year to sharpen the blade and shit. And I'm going to tell him I want them both to be the same functionality. So if I lose my job, me and Fievel can cut grass.
I think his point was more about his non-social distancing with his buddies.
Right. But the thing is, no, if you'd let me finish, I was just going to say it's 6 of one or half dozen another. It all comes down to how much you personally are willing to gamble. And I think that the first thing people say when you start talking about that is, well, you're being so irresponsible. Not if you're pretty confident you don't have it, right? I mean, I don't know.
I mean, I live my life a quarter mile at a time most of the time. So this is nothing.
What do you mean by you did your life a quarter mile at a time?
My life a quarter mile at a time.
Oh, extrapolate on that. It doesn't make any sense. What does that mean? Like,
so
were you were being very careful, or you were rushing, or
that's super reckless. You ever watch drag racing?
No.
You've never seen a drag race?
No, I've seen a drag race, but I don't watch it on TV.
So, like, cars are judged on
He's saying he lives in the fast lane, is what he's trying to say.
Yeah, but you've heard that term, right, Paul?
No, but I kind of got what you meant.
Jesus.
I'm not sure if Vince Puopolo is the most reckless person out there, man. Like, this is a pretty big world.
I mean,
are you saying I'm not reckless?
I haven't seen much evidence of it.
I haven't either. I mean,
just personally.
East Coast.
I mean, we're not judging you. We're not judging you.
I don't
you seem like a practical, kind of careful person to me.
Yeah. When I think reckless, I think like maybe Dave Cackett, not Vince Puopolo.
I hope Cackett sees this. I'm gonna.
So do I. We love you, Dave.
We love you, Dave.
So clearly, you guys are all. You guys, how long have you 2 known each other?
20 years.
Yeah, about 20, maybe 19.
So
shit, Paul, you and I've known each other 16 or 17.
Yeah, we so same connection between all 3 of us, which we know is Got It by Voices, right?
Right.
Yeah, so Vince's wife and I
should have sent Billy the link.
At our company together, and we were talking about music one day, and I said my favorite band is GBV, and she's like, "That's my husband's favorite band." And I think we had met previously. You brought your baseball glove.
That sounded just like her too.
Yeah, it's more. Yeah,
nailed it.
So when we went to a show
every
together,
impersonation Paul's ever done of someone's wife or mother sounds just like that.
Like Marge Simpson
or something.
So the night that like we met, Paul and I was at a Reds game, and I brought my glove
to the game. Yeah.
Like, what kind of like grown asshole brings a baseball glove to a game?
A reckless quarter mile guy.
Yeah, right. The reckless one. Yeah. No,
so
here's
Paul
the
was
thing.
like, I want to get with that guy because he clearly loves baseball a ton.
Where were the seats? Here's the thing.
I think we needed oxygen and a Sherpa to get to him.
See, that's the thing.
They weren't good.
God bless Jim Evans, who I worked for a long time at the Quarter Bistro.
Oh yeah, he has some good seats.
Yeah, we would sit like literally in the front row, right on the Reds dugout. Right, so people batting are facing you. There's no netting or anything. I always brought a glove if I remembered to.
Hell yeah,
you're right there. You get a laser shot, like give you a worm burner across the top.
That's protection.
Yes.
Right?
Yeah. You look like an idiot.
I'm telling you, I live my life like with as much distance as I can between intervals.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know.
Is that the first night we met? Was that Reds game, huh?
Yeah,
Vince remembers it. Vince, what was the date? What was the weather like? What was Paul wearing?
It was a beautiful night out. But Paul always reminds me because he's like, "You're the asshole that brought a glove to the game."
Right.
Well,
I've actually heard you reference that before.
In
fact, it might even be in our text exchange over doing this or not.
Matter of fact, I think I just said it. Meg was not cool with it.
Well, I'm going to meet all her work friends for the first time, and her husband brings his own glove. Like,
yeah.
Yeah, he's a real special guy.
Living quarter mile.
Right?
Mhm.
Reckless.
Living life a quarter mile at a time.
I do
Reckless.
remember that night. And I remember the first time I met you, Scott.
Do you?
Walking up this Taro Avenue, you and Christina and Fievel was in the
stroller.
The stroller, yeah.
If you will. I thought the first time we ever met was when we had a conversation about the lawn mowing. I thought the first time we ever met is because I was cutting that strip that could conceivably have been your yard, and that was the first time you came out. And you're like, hey, no, you were real nice, but you're like, hey, you don't have to do all that. And I'm like, I figure whatever. It's here.
Oh, maybe I did. Maybe that is the first time.
Yeah, because we and then it took months for you to discover the GBV connection to me.
We were sitting in the back of your backyard.
Yeah, with speakers. Remember, I had that CD player thing. And I'd tell people to go in there and pick something out, and they'd be like, "I don't know any of this stuff." And I said, "It's all mine. You can't go wrong. Just pick something." But we had the speakers that would stick out the back.
I think Out of My Voices just came on.
Yeah, it just came on.
And we were like,
and then you guys met eyes.
Yeah, our hearts exploded.
They did.
Like, oh my God, we're gonna be best friends.
Paul's wearing this weird yellow shirt with a white stripe across the front of it. I forget what it was, some university or something.
But can you guys recall the last time you went? I was
gonna say, I was like, I don't remember that either.
I don't make it up.
When's the last time you guys went to like a dinner party or a friend's house, like somebody you're not tight with, like with us, where the music they were playing wasn't absolute garbage?
My social life doesn't fill with engagements enough to even reference. I don't know.
Like, what happened to all the cool kids? Like, Megan and I had this conversation all the time, or I do, and she just listens. But like, I've lived in this area for 6 years, and it's a beautiful part of town, but I haven't met one cool dad yet. Like, I literally can't take it.
Well, they're a dying breed, man.
Yeah.
Like, did we all just die, or like we just?
I'm working on it, man. I'm trying to get fat. I'm drinking too much, smoking a lot.
Parties, probably not cool music, but I know a few people, you know.
It hasn't happened, and I don't understand.
Yeah.
Well, I don't know what you're hoping for. What are you hoping for? Another GBV fan, huh? I don't mind telling you, those are the GBV fans, you know, as much as we all could say. And I was telling somebody, maybe it was Billy this the other day, I'm a tourist. You know, I like the stuff I like, and I really don't like some of it.
That's fair.
You know,
but I don't think he said he's a tourist, but you probably know more than 80% of the GBV fans.
I doubt that. Because a GBV fan, there's something about it's almost all the GBV fans are like collectors and purists in some regard when it comes to music. And the whole truth of the matter is the GBV is as broad as it might seem, because we're enmeshed in the culture. The GBV fan's a 1 in 10,000 or 1 in 100,000 thing, really. It just is.
We're a handful. You get it or you don't.
But see,
you like more. You like the new. Go ahead. Sorry, Vince.
I was going to say there was only 80 people at Heat Fest, so it tells you how big.
Well, they limited sales, though. They limited sales.
That's what makes it so great.
It really is.
This year
there was like 300 people there. I'd be pissed and probably say, "Fuck it, I'm out."
There was the first night, but not that Saturday.
Yeah, Saturday's where it's real OGs show up.
I don't remember. I just remember a lot of the auctions or the tables and
stuff.
I
remember Vince meeting Bob Pollard. I don't know if it was the first time. He was coming out of the bathroom and he walks up to him, and somehow I love you, blah blah blah, and then you equated it to Andre Agassi.
I did?
Yeah, you're like telling Bob
about the time that he met Andre Agassi?
No. There was 2 people in my life that I wanted to meet, him and Andre Agassi.
Yeah. I've met Andre Agassi.
So have I. I've met them both.
So now your life's complete.
We can kill ourselves now. We can die.
That quarter mile drag race.
Yeah,
I live my life quarter miles.
You'll be dying of the coronavirus. Yeah. Meg, I met Pollard and Andre. I'm good.
Yeah.
See ya.
It's okay.
You're going to leave the boy your record collection in alphabetical order.
But yeah, what happened to all the cool kids? I guess is what we have to
definitions changed, man. The definitions changed. Even the whole truth of the matter is, even somebody that's into music enough to even pay attention to anything more than's on the radio is a 1 in 10,000, 1 in 100,000.
Like
Everybody's not like that. Most people aren't like you. Most people are like, whatever comes on the radio is fine for that time. If they don't like it, they change the station and find something else. And then they're told what they like.
Spend 4 hours a week trying to find something new and different that I haven't heard before.
Well, please let me know. I tried your Eldridge Rodriguez. I liked it sort of, but it was kind of, nothing grabbed me. It kind of just stayed in the background. Eldridge Rodriguez. Didn't you send me that?
Garbage. I sent you.
You don't know what that is? I think you did.
Hey, I got a bunch of, you guys know, I got a bunch of guys at work that still, they don't like GBV, so I have a problem with that. But they all still listen to new music.
Right. Is your group that you get together every year? Yeah.
We get together every year, and yeah, you could. Sorry, no, you can tell.
No, please, no, you tell the story. It's your group. I've always been jealous of it.
Yeah, and we get together, and like, you know, it's evolved over the years, right? Like, it started out, we brought in CDs, like, and there was a library of CDs that worked that we
which is awesome.
Yeah, and then it went to like Dropbox, and then I think now it's just kind of sharing on our Facebook site, like, what are you listening to? And,
right.
You know, but you can tell it's funny, like, it's actually not as the same bands, but to your point, Vince, even then, I mean, it's got good new music, but it's still known music that's going to be like on Pitchfork or Rolling, you know, it's not radio music, but it's still, you know,
but that's the thing, the largest percentage of music that, I mean, radio music is such a small piece, but unfortunately it's what 95% of people know. This has been
you can go 2 and 3 layers below that, and that's where things get really interesting.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, just the way music is tiered out, like, and what's really funny, and Spotify is amazing at this, like, you'll find this band that has this really good sound. Like, I was going through this sort of like shoegaze goth thing for like a couple of months, and I would find a band that sounded like Jesus and Mary Chain or something kind of heavy, and then Spotify will tell you, well, here's other bands that sound like them, right?
Yeah, it's the music genome stuff.
And then you find 1,000 other bands that have the exact same sound, and it's like, it's kind of interesting how it all works. Like, nobody's doing shit that's completely like, there isn't 30 other bands that probably sound the same.
But that's just a reflection of the volume of music that's being created. I don't know. Well, hey, that brings me to something, Vince, that you had put in a text to us. Who's this band Tycho?
Oh yeah, you've been bringing them up for years.
Forever. Why haven't you given them a go?
I have listened to them. They're pretty good.
I was intrigued by what you were saying about what your buddy was from Tycho was saying about just the devastation that the music industry is facing with all this.
Yeah, so the drummer and I we met online.
I'm sure you did.
He slid into my DMs and vice versa.
I'm sure you did.
And because we both on Instagram, we both love vintage rally Group B racing. We love tennis. And I was a big fan of the band he was in.
There you go.
Like 4 or 5 years ago, I went to a concert, and he's in a band that's called like Night Moves. Like, that's his own little solo thing. He does like electronic stuff. It's pretty good. Mm-hmm. So I gave him a follow on Instagram, and then ever since then we've always had a back and forth. So I asked him last week. I was like, "Let's be real for a minute," because usually all we ever talk about is tennis and tennis. That's pretty much it. So I said, let's be real for a minute. Like, how is this going to affect the music industry? And he's like, it's going to devastate it for years to come.
Yeah.
He's like, all these concerts they play over the summer, operate on a really slim margin.
Oh, yeah.
And there's just no wiggle room as far as, how much they make.
Well, that's the thing, too, is that apparently I was reading something, I can't remember where it was, about not just concerts, but sporting events and anything you could think of that there would be advanced ticket sales for. So venues, promoters, what was the other category? And they're just talking about just the sheer magnitude and cost of a refund. A refund doesn't mean you give back the money that you got. The refund means you not only have to give that money back, but you have to somehow cover the cost of giving the money back. Yeah. You have to have someone process it, whether it's a shipping fee or a transfer fee or whatever. Yeah. So you're not only losing money, but you're shelling more out. And, back to what I mean. I was saying that right at the beginning. I'm less concerned. I think it's going to be tragic, the number of people that end up probably dying from this. But I'm much more concerned about the even more fragile and precarious economic situation in the United States and possibly the world when it's over.
Yeah.
What if we kind
it
of
could be
spin
really
it
ugly.
around, and maybe there's a silver line to all this? Like, I think one thing that I really see is the air is cleaner. There's no noise pollution at night. It's like, I just feel like for the next many months, the environment's going to have a real opportunity to sort of like.
Well, I don't know. I
We'll
mean,
shut it right down, but for a minute.
they repealed almost every. They at least temporarily
Oh,
halted
yeah,
enforcement of
bullshit.
every EPA restriction there is because
Yeah.
they can't let the air get too nice.
It won't
you
be.
know?
I mean, I agree with you, Vince. But it's not going to do what we need to do for
Yeah.
that.
What we need somehow there has to be
But
this
it is
weird,
good.
Well, one of the things I like to ask people about is I mean, I think there has to be this kind of weird fundamental sea change in human perception, especially definitely American perceptions, about what constitutes regular life. People have to find different ways to make money. We're gonna have to find different ways. We're gonna have to actually establish different ways for the economy to keep moving and us to still socialize in some way that kind of equals what it was, because it's never going to be what it was again.
Oh, I don't know. I wouldn't get. You don't think ever? Like, I think
No.
we'll get back.
No,
We'll get back.
Yeah,
I
I think we will.
I
I think it's going to be longer.
I think we'll
This whole like, oh, we're going to be out of this by April 30th. Like
that stuff is insane.
Like, it ain't going to happen. We're going to be like this for a while, but.
I think there's going to be some fundamental attitudinal things, and maybe we won't see it because maybe the way we socialize anyway is already kind of insulated from it. But I think that the generation coming up right behind us, I mean, I'm talking about the people that are in like their late 20s, mid and late 20s, people just starting families and so forth. I think they're going to alter their perspective on tons of things. You really don't?
I think it's going to impact our kids the way they're thinking. It's like
I've got a friend.
It is the thing that defines their generation. Correct. The day that we had to go all in the quarantine and social distance from each other.
Yeah, that's the time when everyone really discovered how absolutely broken their relationships and their families were.
Wow, that's some real talk.
It's just like, I didn't think we were dysfunctional, but the whole truth of the matter is we hadn't had a chance to spend enough time together.
You got to turn it back a little bit.
I don't know. I've been trying to be real positive about it because I hear a lot of positive stories. I'm just kidding. The economic thing concerns me a lot, and I don't think people are thinking about some of the backlash from this.
So there'll be some people that can weather the storm, but there'll definitely be some who can.
So,
right?
I was thinking of this.
Go ahead.
When do we get to like Judgment Night level crazy?
Social unrest.
Have you seen the movie Judgment Night, right?
Yeah, I mean,
one of the best soundtracks in the history of soundtracks.
Yeah, it was when they tried to put all those rap guys in Seattle bands together.
It was really well done.
It was okay.
Like for Mad Max.
See, that's the thing. I don't think it's going to be. Don't get me wrong. I really don't think it's going to be Mad Max. But I think it's going to get ugly. I think it has the potential to get really ugly. And I think there's some things that are going to change. Like, I'm really concerned about this administration setting some things up that'll be irreversible. And some of these, like, I mean, they're
like
not
authoritarian powers.
You think?
It's happening all over look at Hungary.
Did you hear the guy in the Philippines yesterday, Duarte, talking about shooting
I'm just
people?
gonna shoot you.
I will bury you. It's not funny, but just the whole. I will. You have to do yourself a favor and try and watch him doing it.
I don't know.
Either.
I didn't buy a gun. Though. We're getting a little dark.
So here's the real question: are we going to make it to Heat Fest?
Yeah.
No.
Excuse me?
He doesn't think so. We think you got a yes, and we got a no.
He's going to be. What's going to happen is you were saying this. You're right. It's not going to be over in the next 2 weeks. Like everyone, like the idiots keep saying, 2 weeks and everything's going to be fine. Once we hit that peak, baby, it's all smooth sailing from there. No, I think what's going to happen is as the deaths keep mounting, well after the next 2 weeks, things that are. I mean, he's September. It's Labor Day, man. We get to the end of April and deaths are going up instead of down. They're going to cancel that, man. There's just no way they can. There's.
Buy your ticket yet? I didn't buy your ticket. I bought mine.
I didn't.
I bought mine.
Well, you boys enjoy yourselves.
He was, but before all this, Vince, like
I wasn't going.
You're going. He's giving me the whole.
I wasn't going this year. I wasn't, because it's like, Paul, I told you this. If all this hadn't happened, I'd have been traveling at least a week and sometimes two every month. And then to tell Christine I'm spending Labor Day weekend in Dayton with you guys, I didn't think it would fly at all. So I wasn't even going to try. So I don't know. Actually, you know what? Now that I think about it, I wouldn't be traveling that much, but I wasn't. Yeah.
Yeah, he's making excuses, Vince.
I am. I'm making excuses. It's true. Because now that I think about it, I really only had like 3 trips lined up.
Like you didn't have fun last year, though.
I didn't have as much fun as I had the year before,
Well,
and I didn't have,
different.
and I didn't have as much fun as I had the year before that.
Because I was there.
Well, yeah, Vince wasn't there last year. We didn't have East Coast.
Maybe that was the whole thing. Maybe that was the whole thing. I don't know. It's the first year was the best time of the 3 so far.
Oh, the GBV show would have been tonight in Baltimore, huh?
It would, man. It's on my calendar.
Man,
I was thinking about going. I was weighing my options and my chips that I was going to spend.
and if things weren't the way they were, you guys would be together at a GBV show right now.
Maybe, but we had Heat, and then we also had Springfest.
Springfest.
So I was like, I got
Springfest, by the way.
Tomorrow night.
Springfest, by the way, was probably going to be a much more likely than Heat.
Where is that? In Youngstown or something?
Yellow
Springs.
That's pretty cool.
Such a bunch of goddamn hippies up there. I can't handle it.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a nice place to visit, but I wouldn't want to live there.
What's that poster you got in the background, Vince? Is that
which
GBV?
One? Is that GBV?
So check it. So that poster right there, I stole off the bar at Southgate House at the Stereo Lab concert, like probably 2000, so 20 years ago.
Nice.
I can't believe 2000 was 20 years ago.
This is a dope GBV poster. I can't remember where I got that.
I've got that same one.
And then everyone's got that one.
I've got that. I never framed it, but I got the one Arizona.
Mm-hmm.
I don't have that. I got like 2 GBV posters, and they're in rolls behind me.
They're all over my house.
I did get this finally. I bought this for Jeremy St. James. Did you see that whole?
Oh yeah.
Buy a record, so Jeremy, you guys know Jeremy. He runs. You know Jeremy, Vince, maybe. But he put online like, oh, I'm gonna sell some of my records. I'm a waiter on the Guided by not the Guided by Voices site, but the record site. So then everybody jumped in, was like, keep your records, and like mass people started putting the records up for sale and
giving Jeremy the money.
Give Jeremy the money.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, that kind of shit.
Vince is not. Vince, look at that look. I love that look. Like,
my boss.
Heavy talk. It's great.
No, my boss did this thing where he asked all of us to find someone in need, and he'd match us up to $100, and if we wanted to buy grocery cards for people.
That's
so
nice.
I bought a $200 grocery card for someone today, and mailed it to him.
Really nice idea.
Well, he's yeah, it is.
So how did that work? Like you found somebody who was in need and he matched whatever you gave?
Yep. Well, what he
did, program?
Well, no. It was literally just a verbal request. He said, "You guys all of you go buy a $200 gift card from your local grocery store, and find someone in need that whether they worked in the service industry or whether they were laid off or furloughed or whatever the case would be. Because the whole unemployment thing is apparently a real nightmare. Systems crashing, stipulations altered, and it's apparently really tough. And he said, anybody that does that, just send me a text saying you did it and who you gave it to, because I like to hear the stories. And I'll send you guys, anybody that does it, I'll send you a $100 bill. And people were like, that's a nice idea. You don't have to send us a $100 bill, but we'd like to do this. And he said, well, I'm sending the money anyway. And if you really don't want it, you can give another $100 to whoever you found in need. So I'll probably end up doing that.
So the question is, what is Paul going to do with the money?
He's probably going to buy beer with it, right? They just showed me Jeremy St. James got the money. He bought that record.
I did. I bought that record.
No, but that kind of stuff. See, that kind of stuff, I think will really, as corny as it sounds, it'll help in the long run. You got to keep this moving, right? The machine's got to keep moving.
It brings out the humanity. It brings out like empathy. It brings out like this part of like the world that we don't experience much anymore.
You're doing this, right, Scott? Like, how many people have you talked to that you haven't
who are
talked
doing
to
stuff like that? Oh yeah,
like this, like this. But like, I've talked to friends that I haven't talked to in a long time. right? Like
Yeah.
you pick up the phone and
Yeah.
hey, like, I know shit's
I
going
wanted to
on.
do. I really
know?
wanted to document how this was affecting different people because the news is all the same. It's like this city's horrible. The numbers are this. Trump is crazy, and I just wanted to talk to people. I was genuinely curious as how it was affecting different people, and we didn't get into that all that much, but I think that's okay.
So we didn't hit the life's fine, doing as well as we can.
Yeah.
Could
Are
be a
your
lot
kids?
worse.
Are your kids losing their minds?
No, I mean, we kind of, they're doing well. And I think they actually like homeschool. Like they don't have to go to school. It's not 8 hours. They do their work in like a couple hours and then they,
Kilgore, my daughter's in 6th grade, Kilgore, elementary school, obviously, sorry. And they're literally trying to do a full school day online structure starting this Monday.
Oh, really?
Here. Not full day though.
This is full day. It's like 9 to 3:15. I'm just like,
that's intense, but I appreciate it.
I mean, I appreciate it too, but I think it's unrealistic to say the least.
Yeah.
I've really had a hard time with my kids trying to instill in them the idea that this isn't a prolonged vacation. They hear all the rumors about how nobody's going back to school this year and they're just going to get whatever grade they had or whatever. But I've talked to as many people that said that there's going to be some kind of grading based on participation in the things posted and autonomy or whatever.
Oh, yeah.
Personal accountability and responsibility.
I think Luke did a dance when he heard we might probably not, when we said we probably won't go back, buddy.
But
they're doing their work. I don't know.
Yeah, it's just a struggle, and I just can't help but be. We've tried. We get them up. We're getting them up at the same time every morning, as much as possible, and we're trying to keep them on a at least relatively rigorous daytime schedule for lunch and breakfast and stuff. But
at the end of the day, like whether or not Enzo gets into an Ivy League school isn't going to be determined by the fact that he missed 2 months of school. Like, I think for me it's a struggle because I'm like, you know what? Fuck it. Like, shit's a mess right now. The last thing I care about is whether or not he's like killing it at fractions.
Yeah, I got you. I'm almost out of time, boys.
Oh my gosh.
I know, right?
Left.
I'm under the 2-minute mark, but
wait, are you using like a free Zoom account?
Exactly.
That's the reason that we're under this time crunch.
Someone told me about how Zoom's got a security issue and people can hack in and draw penises on your meetings.
I was just reading that article. That poor kid.
I so want that to happen.
I'm gonna draw a big wiener right on the screen right now.
But I had a teacher on the other night. He was telling me, the school boards don't let you use Zoom because of their security issues, and I said, well, I'm trying to boost my views, right?
Yeah, I mean, if I drew a dick pic right on your head, this shit would go huge.
Yeah, maybe. I don't know. I can't say it would or it wouldn't. But I appreciate you guys doing this.
Is the 45 minutes like 45 minutes a day or just consecutive? Like you can't
I don't know. I've never tried to do 2 in a row because I just don't.
So you can't like sign back on after the session ends. He's trying to wrap us up. He's just
he's trying to kick us off the set, which is bullshit.
No, the whole truth of the matter is, boys, if you want to, we could just keep talking and just have it get cut off. I don't give a shit. I was just trying to tie.
It'll let us stay on or no? No,
it'll just stop. It'll just kick everybody off.
Oh yeah. Wow. But maybe
This showbiz shit
it's gonna happen any second. So it'll be the second. It'll be the second one I've done out of the 6 or whatever.
I wore the 7th level shutdown, but I was thinking that was the first one we went to together. But that was Vince and I's first one. You went to the next one. Yeah.
You and I don't. What was it? But I can't even remember the first one you and I saw together.
Well, not the first GBV show. The first Heat Fest is what I meant.
Oh yeah, that wasn't me.
T-shirts. Yeah.
That wasn't me. Seventh level, right? There's so many little GBV things I don't know anything about because I'm a tourist.
Right. Not a tourist. You like
you real deal, buddy.
Vince doesn't like anything under the bushes, under the stars.
Maybe.